Body count does not matter at all if you are
right.
STD free and not sleeping with other people while we date. Body
Amen.
count does not matter at all for me.
Amen.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for the
Completely
$12 super chat. Thank you for the support. Appreciate it. So,
Is that really your friend? That's your friend?
That's my best friend.
Oh my god,
Aw.
she's so
Boom.
pretty.
She's right. She's correct.
Yeah.
okay, so she's asserting, at least to her, or maybe she thinks that this should be more broadly accepted, body count should not matter, does not matter at all. So should body count matter is the question, and I'm going to start over on this side with you. Go ahead.
You're asking me if body count matters?
Should body count matter? Should someone's body count matter?
I agree with what she said completely. And I think as long as you're getting tested and communicating, like if you want to sleep with multiple people, like that's something you should share with your sexual partners. I think just being open and like honest is what matters. But I don't really think of like body count as the first thing that's like, oh my god, immediately no. But everyone has a past, and like people have slept around, and like that's just life, but it's personal preference.
Okay, what do you think? Should body count matter?
It depends with who. Like, like if it's someone you want to have a long relationship with, like, yeah. But if it's like one night stand, I don't care. I'm gonna say.
Okay, so for a relationship, you would prefer someone with a low body count?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you?
I don't think it should matter. Like, it would never be like a reason for me to not be with someone if they have a high body count.
Okay. So a guy, if he had slept with 100 women before you,
I
not an
would
issue?
be like a little like not jealous,
maybe.
but
I'd be
like,
jealous.
I'd be
but like, I'm
Nice.
like I have so many girls to like, you know. But I wouldn't be like I wouldn't
276.
not be with him if I actually liked him and he had a high body count.
Okay. And then would you take issue with a man? Do you take issue with men having an issue
You're good. You're good.
with high body count?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
I feel like, I mean, if it was like 100, I would be maybe taken aback. But as long as you're healthy and taking care of yourself, that's all that matters. Like if someone like isn't educated and like doesn't get tested, that's when I'm gonna be like, no, immediately not. No matter if it's like gonna be a one night stand or if it's gonna be a relationship.
Okay.
I don't think it matters. You know, I think it's in the past. You know, I look at it like, what are you bringing to the table now? You know, like, are you committed to me solely? You know, is this a cemented deal? Great. Doesn't matter. You're with me. I can overlook that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it matters as long as you're safe and you're healthy. If it was 100, I would ask them to get tested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Less than that.
yeah,
Okay.
I'd say yes and no. You know, your past, that's your past. We can't change that. So no, I'm not going to judge you on that. However, I am going to look at what are you doing moving forward? Are you going to continue the, path that you
Yeah.
were previously
Yeah, I
doing? If
agree.
you're not, you know, personally, I want a man of God. I'm a Christian, so I am saving myself for marriage, and therefore I expect my husband to have the same expectations. And if I expect that of him, I will put it also on myself. So
Okay. So I'll come in on this. So body count does matter. I think a lot of men care about body count. We want women with a low body count, generally speaking. The lower, the better. And there's a couple reasons for that. Some of you said, by the way, do any of you have an issue with that men care about body count?
I mean,
with the
Just,
statement?
just show of hands.
this
Is it an issue if a guy
statement-
cares?
not particularly. Like, I don't have an issue with the statement, but I would be curious as to what like that stems from. Like, what's your
Yeah.
reasoning?
Like why? Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
So there's a few reasons, and I'll tell you a few reasons. So the first off is, you guys kind of brought it up, STDs. So someone who's promiscuous, someone who's slept with a lot of partners, more likely to have an STD. And like, you guys might say, okay, well, what about testing and all this stuff? Let's be real. Like, let's be real here. Most people are not getting tested after each and every sexual encounter or after each and every sexual partner they've had. To be promiscuous suggests that you're sleeping, or could suggest that you're sleeping with multiple people at the same time, or regularly sleeping with new people. So the STD risk is higher. So, and also keep in mind, sometimes there's certain STDs they don't test for. Some STDs show up later on down the road. So you could say get tested, but even if you do get tested, there's still an STD risk with sleeping with someone who is promiscuous. It's sort of obvious, but they've done studies on it. The more sexual partners you've had, the higher likelihood of getting or having an STD. So there's that. There's also let's see. It's just, for a lot of men, it's just also simply unattractive. If a woman has slept with a lot of other partners. So just unattractive.
I think the same could be, said
Sure.
for women,
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I feel
sure.
like there are a lot of men out there, who catch STDs, who catch chlamydia every other weekend, and they're like, got that one, I'll get rid of this and continue, It's not a life-altering decision for them. It's not a wake-up call for them. And I feel like I understand, I guess, the concept of where body count matters, but I just feel like it's not, I don't know, good luck, I guess, finding it, because there's just it's not relevant in this culture anymore.
It's kind of relevant. Men still care about it.
Yeah, but I'm going to ask the man,
Most
how many
men.
people have you slept with?
But it's different.
I don't
It's a
feel
double
like it
standard,
needs to
but it's
be-
different.
Okay, I'm glad you said it was a double standard, but
Yeah.
So, okay. What men and women find attractive is different. There's asymmetries in what men find attractive and what women find attractive. So, just to kind of give some more reasons why body count matters, someone who is promiscuous or who has a high body count, they're less likely to be able to properly pair bond with you. They're less likely to be able to fall in love. If you've slept with 100 people, you have rewired your brain basically to be chasing after short-term pleasure seeking. Whereas commitment, long-term monogamous relationship requires long-term planning. If you're rewiring your brain towards excitement and pleasure seeking in a 1-2 year relationships, things slow down a little bit. Things are not quite as exciting. There's an excitement to being with someone new that doesn't exist when the 100th time you've had sex with someone. Not to say that the sex can't be amazing and fantastic, but there's less of a excitement factor,
yeah,
a
that
new
appeal
factor
lost
to it.
its value.
Yeah,
I think
so
that's
there's
very
that.
fair.
They've done studies on this. If you have a high body count or you're promiscuous, more likely, there's a higher likelihood of infidelity, higher likelihood of reporting relationship or marriage dissatisfaction, higher likelihood of a breakup of a relationship, higher likelihood of divorce, and higher likelihood of infidelity. So there's a whole bunch of factors. And also from an evolutionary psychology point of view, there's a paternity uncertainty component that exists for men that does not exist for women. So as women, if you get pregnant, you will know that that's your child. But as a man, you cannot guarantee that the girl you're seeing, if she gets pregnant, that's your kid.
That's
If
what DNA
she's
tests are for.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but throughout all of human history, that's a very modern
Right.
invention. I think it was in the 1980s.
Right, and I see the comparison in which you're making, but relevant society, it's there. That's what it's there for. I get that you're trying to make that connection to the past. It's just not reality today.
Well, it
within
is
that.
reality. It is reality because despite advancements in science where we can do paternity tests, that doesn't undo men's hardwiring biologically and evolutionary.
Okay.
Like I said, from an evo psych point of view, men have a vested interest in making sure that the child is their
theirs.
kid.
I get that.
Because it's a big fucking L for a dude to be raising a kid he thinks is biologically his,
And then it's
but
not.
isn't.
Yeah, I would be devastated. I
Because
would.
yeah, not only is it not your kid, it just revealed infidelity. So it's like a double whammy. And so yes, we can do paternity tests, but it does not undo the very real evolutionary hardwiring for men to prefer women who are not promiscuous. Throughout all of human history, for both men and women, actually, sexual purity was something that was valued until very recently, where it's just like, okay, just fuck up as many people as you want, you know? Hey, you should be free to do whatever you want, but it does, again, men care deeply about this, so.
I think that's very fair. I don't have a rebuttal. I'm not a man. I can't like contest to that.
yeah.
You know.
Here's just one more, and I'll let you come in. Another thing is just like a reputational thing. Like, if we don't want to be dating a girl and like call her our girlfriend or call her our wife, and then like dudes we know slept with her, like it's weird. It's a bad look.
I just,
if she's
but that's where your
town
double
bicycle.
standard is. Because
Yeah.
I feel like I could meet a man and, you know, and be like, oh, you know, my friend slept with him and she slept with him and, you know, whatever. And it's just, I don't think that that's fair in a sense. I don't.
Well, life isn't fair.
Sure.
There's all kinds
but
of
I mean,
double
then,
standards.
you know, then stop bitching about it, you know, if it's not fair, honestly.
So I'll say this. So women are free to have a preference for men who have a low body count too.
And so are men.
Yeah.
So are men.
If a woman's like, hey, I don't want to date a guy who's a player. I don't want to date a guy that was promiscuous either in the past or
Okay,
currently.
then keep swiping through till you find
That's
one.
totally fine.
Mhm.
But here's the thing. Generally speaking, women care far less about a man's body count than do men care about women's
Because
body count.
we're not worried about all these women who came before and went and, you know, whatever. Unless there's ties there, you got some history there, you know, fine. You could get into the specifics and the details of that. But I'm looking at, like, what do you bring to the table now? You know, like, what is the
Right.
relationship that you have with me? What are you willing to do for me? We know, how are you willing to commit? Are you not willing to commit? No. Then I know that, you know, right there and then, this is a waste of my time or it's worth pursuing.
Word.
Thank you.